What's up everybody, it's Fox back with another video. So, the development studio behind the incredible Uncharted and the Last of Us series, Naughty Dog, have stated their intent and determination to best one of PS4's highest reviewed games of 2018. Only the multi-million seller God of War. Yes, not only is Guerrilla Games' opus Horizon Zero Dawn in the team's sights, now they're going after Sony Santa Monica. It's really quite amazing to see this much internal competition to deliver the most impressive first-party PS4 exclusive game content. Sony Worldwide Studios are literally in competition with themselves, and as a PlayStation gamer that can only mean we get to consistently experience excellence in visuals, gameplay and storytelling narrative. Courtesy of WCCFtech.com, here's the full story. So The Last of Us was a great game for a lot of reasons, but an essential part of its appeal was the interaction between Joel and NPC companion Ellie. Will that kind of mechanic be returning for the sequel? Now, The Last of Us Part 2's E3 demo showed Ellie stabbing her way through a solo mission without a sidekick in sight. Thankfully, in a recent interview with BuzzFeed, The Last of Us creator-director Neil Druckmann confirmed Ellie will have somebody watching her back. Here's a quote. Ellie used to be an NPC, but she's the protagonist in The Last of Us Part 2, so the player is controlling Ellie. And I think it's safe to say with the game that we made in the past that there will be some NPC with you in this story, even though we're not showing the NPC in the demo. Our general approach is to say, hey, how do we treat them like people? How do we get them to behave honestly with those people? How do we give them interesting characteristics so that they can navigate the world and make meaningful actions and surprise you in the way people do? Will Ellie's sidekick be bringing something new to the table? Sony's own God of War arguably took the NPC companion concept to another level with Kratos' son, Atreus. So does Druckmann feel any pressure to evolve and improve the mechanic? He went on to say, "We're friends with those guys at Sony Interactive Entertainment Santa Monica. We're actually neighbors. I guess they're not in Santa Monica technically anymore, but yeah, we share tech and creative processes, and we welcome the friendly competition to one-up them in every regard. And you can tell God of War director Cory Barlog that." Fighting talk there from Neil Druckmann. So, who might Ellie be teaming up with in The Last of Us Part 2? Joel would be the most obvious choice, but I have a feeling that's not happening. Could it be Dina, the woman from the beginning of the E3 2018 demo? She and Ellie certainly seem to be close, actually closer than close. Druckmann did tease he was going really for some dog motion capture earlier this year, so maybe you're getting a furry friend. Personally, I'm hoping Ellie teams up with a giraffe from the zoo in the first game. Now, The Last of Us Part 2 has yet to receive an official release date, but it's likely coming out sometime in 2019. In other news, this time courtesy of GamingBolt.com, native 4K resolution at 30 frames per second with PlayStation 4 level graphics quality requires approximately 7.4 TFLOPS of raw GPU power, and that's according to AMD developers. Here's the full story. So it's totally not like it was the world's biggest secret that the 6 TFLOP Xbox One X and the 4.2 TFLOP PS4 Pro specs fell well short of the power required to be able to properly render visuals at 4K. And yet the debate of 4K resolutions in gaming and when they will become standardized has become at the forefront of the industry for some time. With the advent of PS4 Pro and even more powerful Xbox One X, the answer to that question has looked to be pretty soon, more and more every day. Now apparently even the two enhanced systems don't have enough specs to be able to support proper 4K specifications. And while speaking with gaming magazine Edge, the July 2018 issue number 320, AMD's Timothy Lotz mentioned that to achieve 4K resolutions for a game that looks like a regular PS4 title at a frame rate of around 30 frames per second, a game needs to be about 7.4 teraflops per second. Interestingly enough though, both the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X do fall short of this requirement, with the PS4 Pro, as I say, coming in at 4.2 TFLOPS and the Xbox One at 6, which is likely why we're not able to really squeeze out native 4K resolutions per every game anyway, being closer to the expected requirements as opposed to actually hitting it. Lots did, however, mention that the brief description is an oversimplification of a very complicated and layered process. That complication, of course, comes in the form of stuff like supersampling, checkerboarding, and temporal reconstruction, which really are means that the developers in some cases use to have less 4K pixels on the screen in terms of pixel count in their games, and then fill those gaps through those multiple techniques. Now, Codemasters Ollie Wright, who has led graphics really programming on the recent release on Rush, which does achieve native 4K resolution on the Xbox One X but not the PS4 Pro, had some insight into this, which he shared with Edge. Here's a quote. "We use temporal reconstruction techniques to provide a unified anti-aliasing and upscaling solution for 4K that does a really good job of creating all the extra pixels. We've not had to deal with 4 times jump in pixel count before. Now, when jumping from 1080p to 4K directly without any of these techniques to aid developers, it would really be a different proposition if it weren't for the techniques like checkerboard rendering and temporal reconstruction. These techniques allow us to pretend like we're still dealing with a 2 times jump." So not really much the informed hasn't really heard before, but there are plenty of other factors and variables to take into account as well, of course, since, for instance, how demanding and taxing the game's other components are on the system's GPU can also have a profound impact on whether or not enough juice is left to be able to squeeze out those native 4K resolutions. The result, after all of this, in the end, with the utilization of the aforementioned techniques, is not quite the same as native 4K in terms of visual quality, but a pretty good substitute that is able to achieve a close enough result within the confines of the less than required technical specifications current gen consoles give developers to work with. And also, Sony has quietly released a hardware revision for the standard PS4. Sony Interactive Entertainment has started selling PS4 Slim model CUH2200 with the rollout of the new revision in Japan first, replacing the previous CUH2100 model. At present, there is a new 1TB jet black version and a new 500GB jet black version, and a new 1TB Glacier White version, and the 500GB Glacier version still has the model number CUH2100AB02, whereas the previous CUH2100 revision was introduced back in 2017. Now, in terms of what drastic changes have been made, there appears to be very little. Price, weight, size and power consumption appears to be unchanged, with the console still costing around 34,980 yen plus taxes for the 1TB model and around 29,980 yen plus taxes for the 500GB version. This, alongside the fact that only the second digit of the model number has changed, indicates a minor revision in the internal components that is normally implemented to lower manufacturing costs. This kind of minor change is unlike cases in which the first digit is altered, which usually indicates a major redesign. So when this kind of small revision happens, the new model normally filters to stores worldwide gradually, depending on stocks and previous models and regions. Now, regional models will show differences in the last 2 digits of their code. For instance, the North American version will probably come with the code CUH2201 or CUH2215, while the European version might adopt CUH2204 or CUH2216. So it's unclear what, if any, improvements were made with this latest model, though I suspect that this is a revision more for cost-cutting purposes, a cost-cutting exercise in terms of manufacturing, though it appears any savings will not be passed on to the consumer if the Japan prices are anything to go by. Now, this makes me question how relevant this new model is in terms of substantial improvements, lower power consumption, a quieter fan, you know, that sort of thing. Now, since I've heard of no issue with the current PS4 Slim model, the new revision probably won't make much of a difference to most, though if anything new materializes regarding this new revision, I'll be sure to report on it. And in our final news segment, courtesy of cogconnected.com or cogconnected.com, sourced via Reset Era, a German court has outlawed any game pre-order that is without a specific release date illegal. So it's outlawed. No more paying for products that can be indefinitely delayed. Now, a new ruling by the Munich Higher Regional Court, ABBROLG, has outlawed vague release dates for in-marketing items made available for pre-order. Specifically, entrepreneurs have been barred from using generalizations like coming soon or shipping soon. A litigant recently took German company MediaMarkt to task over excessive delays on pre-orders. Reported on Tech Power Up, the company product made available for pre-order was a Samsung Galaxy S6 listed back in August 2016. The product page promised eventual delivery but failed to present consumers with a specific release date. As such, Oberschlagerich München, I can't even pronounce that correctly, so forgive me, has ruled that the implementation of pre-orders without a final release date threshold is against the law. And for those seeking further clarification, the ruling is fully detailed and viewable via the link provided in this video's description. Now, due to the ongoing exodus to purely digital retail really and consumption, pre-orders have become part of everyday transactions. Businesses now pivot on the demand for products before they even arrive, which allows them to make a safer bet but leaves us really in the dark. It's why they attempt to secure preemptive sales, and the method has become especially rampant within the game industry. Now, Fallout 76, for example, became available for pre-order before we caught word of a release date. For the first time, however, a country is decisively moving against the grain. This begs the question, will nations like the US follow Germany's lead and break the coming soon tag? For some perspective, we have had these newly implemented laws. Well, then Crackdown 3 would have already been released or cancelled after the third, if not second delay, which begs the question, will this court ruling from across the sea generate enough ripples to impact how game publishers market their products? Could we see more games announced closer to their intended release dates, which is pretty much better for everybody? Waiting for a game is almost like waiting longer for a Hollywood movie. Years and years and years. And that's pretty much where today's news video ends. But do let us know your thoughts and opinions on all of today's news stories, because that unfortunately brings us to the end of another video. But let's continue the discussion in the video comments. And for more PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch news, subscribe to FOXY Games UK and hit the notification bell so you never miss content. And remember to thumbs up if you like the video and help us reach like-minded gamers simply by sharing the video. And for just £1, €1, $1 or equivalent, consider supporting the FOXY Games UK Patreon and help us grow. You'll find a link in this video's description. Thank you for your kind support. And there we have it. Until next time, always remember, play games, not corporations.